The Forever Purge 2021. The movie begins, and we are shown a barren area like the desert. Here we see a couple who were going somewhere from this area. Then they see a house like a ruin there. They now go to the house where some people were. They also had weapons. Both husband and wife talk to those people, and it is known that all these people are on the border of Mexico and America and all want to go to America illegally, i.e., without a passport and visa. After that, the couple, whose husband's name was Joan and his wife's name was Odla, were both sent to a tunnel. Now, when they went inside the tunnel, where it was very dark, there were many more people who all wanted to go to America. As soon as Odla enters the tunnel, she gets scared when a boy suddenly appears in front of her, but later it is found that he is their companion. After this, we see that they have reached America. Their companions, Odla and Joan, give them a card on which a flower was made. They both left from there. Now we are shown the scene of a horse farm where a man named Dallin was trying to control a horse, but his horse did not let him come to him. Then Dallin's dad, who was there, tells his son that it is not your cup of tea to handle this horse. We need a man who knows horses well. Then Joan comes there, having controlled the horse well. Joan is jealous of Dallin seeing this. He takes his horse and leaves from there. Now Dallin's dad had put Joan to work, after which, Odla is shown, who used to work in a factory. She was talking to one of her friends there. It was found that it was very difficult for people from other countries to get work in America because the people of America hated the people of America. Odla drinks coffee from her factory and goes out, but then she notices that two men with guns in their hands were watching Odla very carefully. Then the scene changes, and a news broadcast is broadcast on TV in which it is told that the day of purge is coming. Now I will tell you what day it was. On that day, Americans used to kill people from other countries. On the day of the purge, the government used to give 12 hours to some people who were called purgers and who used to kill people from other countries. During this time, they could kill any man, and no man could take legal action against them. Now the day had come when the game of blood was to begin in America. Joan and Odla were also leaving their home. As we know, they had come from Mexico, so they were also afraid that these people might die. Then a bus comes in, and Joan's friend, who used to work with her in the form of Dallin's father, and some other people are also sitting in the bus and come to another place. Here, money was taken from people and saved from the purge. Now Joan goes inside with Odla and her friend, where they see that there were many more people who were going to stay here for 12 hours to save themselves from the purge. Now the purge is about to begin, and everything will be closed for 12 hours. Everyone felt that 12 hours was not less for them than any hell. The time of the purge begins, due to which there is silence everywhere. Odla and Joan were very upset because of this purge. On the other hand, Dallin, who was in his house, feels as if someone is around him. Now he goes to a closet where there are many people. When he was closing the closet, a girl came to him, seeing that he was scared. This girl was no one else but her wife, who told her that we should not support those who play murderous games like the purge. And she also tells Dallin that she is going to become a mother. There was silence all around the city. There was a sound of bullets where people were killing each other. It was very scary. Now everyone leaves for their homes. Where Joan was going to work with her friend from the city, he saw that there was blood everywhere. The whole city was full of corpses. There is blood on the walls, and the government's men are busy cleaning from all sides. Odla also comes to her factory, but no one has come there yet. There, Dallin also opens the doors of his factory. He was looking very scary. Then 4 more people came in front of him who had surrounded Dallin from all sides. He gets very worried when he sees them. He sees Odla, who was opening a closed goat cage. Suddenly, she herself got stuck in that cage. There were also some people there who were wearing a rabbit-like mask. They were going to kill Odla. Then his friend comes and talks to Odla. Actually, these people who had come to kill Odla were all purgers who were still working to kill people, but Odla and his friend killed them. Then the police also came there, which caught both of them, because now the time of purging was also over. The people who had come in the form of Dallin were also purgers. They had tied up Dallin's whole family and were also killing his sister. Then John and his friend, who used to work on their farm, came there. They come and start shooting at those people. Now one of those purgers shoots at Dallin's dad and kills him. It started raining bullets from both sides. June and his friend killed all the purgers. They take their truck, put Dallin and his family in it, and leave from there. because now the time of purging was also over. Now June calls his wife, Odla, but his phone does not reach her because 2 police officers caught Odla with his friend. June was very worried about his wife, Odla. There, the police were taking Odla in their van, in which his friend, a man, and a girl were with him, who were supporting the purgers. While leaving, their van turns upside down. Odla was very happy to see him. Now when the van door opened, where June was, Odla was very happy to see him. June also wanted to save him, put him in his truck, and take everyone to Mexico, because everyone knew that they would be safe there. On the way, they also stop at a fuel station and take their necessary things from there. June was telling everyone that there was a purge everywhere in the city. People are killing each other, and this murder is not stopping. That's why other countries have decided to open their borders for 6 hours, so that whoever has gone to America from other countries can come back to their country, which can save their lives. But the border with Mexico was very far, and now they sit in their truck and leave for Mexico. When they were driving their truck in the dark, some bikes got stuck behind them. The purgers, who had learned, came near their truck and started shooting. They were all scared because they did not have a weapon to compete. Dylan's sister shows them a flag there, which was of the purgers. This means that this is the place where the bullets were firing all around. Now they leave their truck and move on. There was destruction everywhere, but then some people caught them. They were all purgers. That's when the police came there and started shooting at everyone. Taking advantage of this, June leaves with Odla. But Odla and Dylan's wife were separated from their group. Odla's wife was stopping her. She says that first we have to find our husbands. Odla does not listen to her and goes inside. She says to Dylan's wife that people from other countries leave a mark to help their people. Maybe we can get some help here. Then 2 men came there who had shot them both. But when Odla tells them that she has come here with the purgers, she tells them that she has come here with the purgers. Now she had brought them together in one place. Odla sees there are many people who have come there to save their lives from the purgers. There she also sees her husband, June, and Odla. Both were very happy to meet each other. After this, the news is on TV that the purgers have also attacked the army. Everyone was very upset to hear the news. Then a woman calls her companion, who used to live in Mexico, so that he can come and save his life. Now, when everyone was about to leave, a car came and stopped there, driven by the same man who had been called by that woman for help. Now they all start going from there in his car. But then the news of this got to the leader of the purgers. When the leader of the purgers looks back from his car, he sees some cars coming. Those cars were also purgers, but they had now reached the border of Mexico. The car could not go beyond this. They get off the car and go ahead. There, they met some people who were Mexicans. Some people were walking and going ahead, but some companions with June and Odla had run out of bullets. Then they all hid in a house. But there too, the purgers came, who were going to kill June and also make Odla conscious. But soon he comes to his senses and kills the people who were killing June with bullets. After killing everyone, these people were going to the border. But then the leader of the purgers catches Odla and tells him to go back to Mexico. But June and the man who brought them here attacked the leader of the purgers and killed him. All the purgers were killed. June and the rest of the people crossed the border and came to Mexico. Talon's wife, who was about to become a mother, also has a daughter. At the end, it is shown that all who came from America to Mexico were safe. A man was sitting next to him who was wearing gloves on his hands and a mask on his face. He says to that old man, "Please, Dad, forgive me. I have to do all this." That old man, whose name was Paul, was his dad. Now Paul and his wife take their dad out and kill him by strangling him with a ball worn in the jungle, and then puts him in a pit and burns him. At night, his wife and his son were sitting at the dining table. All were very sad. Paul picks up the plates and leaves. After that, his son also went to sleep. He was staring at a painting on the wall in his room. Then he gets up and goes to his grandfather's room. His grandfather was sitting on the bed. When he goes to him, he suddenly starts vomiting blood. Paul's mother comes to him and says, "Son, get up quickly. Someone has come to the house." There was also a dog with him in his house. All these people are wearing masks. When the door suddenly opens, Paul shoots. His wife says, "Stop, Paul." There was a man there. He looks at Paul, raises his hand, and says, "Forgive me. I have come here by mistake. I have nothing." Now Paul sticks a tape. That man stays there all night. When it is morning, Paul goes to check on that man to make sure he is not infected. He does not have any diseases. Now Paul shows him his gun and says, "Look, it will not take me a minute to shoot it. It is full of bullets. Now tell me the truth. Who are you? Where did you come from?" He just asks the first question, and then Paul asks him, "What were you looking for here?" That man says, "My wife and son are living in a half house 50 miles from here. We have food and water. Everything is over. I came here to check on all this." Paul says, "Is he infected?" That man says, No, he too has no disease. We are all fine." Paul asks him, "How long have you been living here?" He says, 4 years. "The city is very bad. There are diseases everywhere." The man says to him, "Look into my eyes. I am telling the truth. Every word I say is true." Paul asks his wife and son if they should help him or not. Finally, all of them decide together that they will help him. The next day, Paul goes to his family and puts a gun to his head. Paul hides under his car. When the attacker comes there, Paul shoots him with his gun and comes out and kills him. The other man who was with Paul and who was going to take his family says, "You shouldn't have killed him, Paul. Maybe he is from a big gang, and maybe his friends will come here looking for him." Now they pick up the man who was going to take his family. His name was Will. Now Will takes Paul to his family. Paul's wife tells everyone not to worry. In Will's family, his wife, son, and sister had come home with everyone. At night, while eating food, Paul explains to everyone what to do and how to live here. He also tells Will that until there is no emergency, he will not be able to live here. Paul's son tells Will to cut wood. When Paul's son was sleeping at night, Will's sister came to him. When she came close to him, blood was coming out of her mouth. Paul's son gets scared. He got scared and stood up. And here we find out that he was just dreaming. Now he goes out where Will's sister was scared. Now both sit and talk. Will's sister says, "You know, I like cake, cookies, and ice cream a lot." So Paul's son says, "No, I don't like it." Which she says, "You are very strange, you don't like sweets." These two sit here and talk a lot. Then the two go to sleep, saying good night to each other. The next morning, Paul's son tells him that his dog had started barking loudly and was going towards the forest. Paul's son was insisting on following him, but he tells his son that we should go home. He knows the way home. He will come himself. When Paul's son was sleeping at night, he suddenly woke up. He goes out and sees Will's son sleeping alone in a room. He picks him up and wakes up his mom and dad. He says, "Go and see if there is anyone outside." Now Paul and his wife go to see people wearing masks. Their dog was at the door. The one who had died was also infected. Paul's son cries a lot when he sees his dog in such a state, but Paul tells his son to scold him and go. Now they also burn their dog in a pit. When night falls, Paul's son passes by and hears Will's son crying. He goes and tells his mom and dad. Paul gets up and goes to Will, and his door starts knocking, but he doesn't open the door. His son was infected. He was also sick. He knew that as soon as he opened the door, Paul would kill him because his family was infected. Will now come out. He says to Paul, "Please don't do anything to us. We will go from here." But as soon as Will came out, he went with his family. Paul shoots him. Patty, Will's wife, was crying a lot. After that, Paul kills his wife, sister, and son. Paul's son was also infected. He also died after a few days, meaning that Paul lost his son because of Will's family. Why were they getting sick? All diseases are so dangerous that there is no way to escape. Due to the spread of diseases in the city, people started living in the jungle, but the poor could not even escape there. Now Paul and his wife were gone. Now the question was, will they be able to live for a long time? And with this story ends here.